Yet on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being like super frank, how frank would you like me to be in this conversation?
I'm not sure. I like where this is going.
How come?
We'll see.
Moving forward with the Decker team. Moving forward together with the Decker team.
So we've created for you free access to over 587 Life's Inside Track episodes where we share real estate insider tips, making house home, building wealth, life exponential. And the great news is you'll get access to them from home, from the office, or on the go. So we're going to discover, I think, right here, right now, how forthright we want to be in a conversation. How forthright ought we to be in a conversation?
Yeah, so this is something that we utilize anytime we're getting into a new relationship, business-wise.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people have unspoken rules in relationship that sends relationships south when one person is being much more frank, to the point, maybe even authentic, right? Compared to the other person. Or they're expecting to get frank back and they're not getting frank conversations back. So they're feeling that lack, that need to draw someone out. And having the kind of the guideline as to how authentic and truthful and is an important piece.
It is. And I think the disclaimer we want to make sure we put here is it's not about mean. It's not about unkind. Frank or forthright or authentic conversation still needs to be respectful, kind, appropriate for the situation. It doesn't have to be yelling or high volume or high intensity, although passion comes when you're passionate about things. That can happen.
It needs to be in love, said in love.
Right. And so it's not, when we say, because often when I ask this question, whether it's in a casual conversation, but conversation with somebody that really matters to me. I mean, this isn't probably a conversation you have the first time you meet somebody. No. It would seem very weird. So how forthright do you want me to be with you?
Do you know why that is? Because when you first meet somebody, you don't have a depth of relation to have deep candor. You can't have candor in a recent relationship. It takes depth of relationship to be very candor.
Right. And yet it's not mean. Forthright does not equal mean or unkind.
It doesn't.
Like, that's huge. Because I think often when I ask the question, people, especially in a work environment, when I'm hiring a new team member, early on in the hiring process, once I've decided, if I haven't decided I'm going to work with you, I'm probably not going to ask this question. But as soon as we've decided we want to be in business relationship with each other, one of the most essential questions I have is, like, how authentic and forthright and truthful, it's really truth, do you want me to be with you as we're working through stuff?
Yeah, do I need to sugarcoat it?
Yeah, and
or do you want it?
It's not even sugarcoat. It's like, how much do you need me not to say what's really going on?
How much of the detail do you need?
Well, how real do you want me to be? I think that's the other word, real. Okay. And people will get confused often and think real means mean.
Right.
And real is kind.
And one thing we've learned is that just because you think something doesn't mean you need to say it, right? And so there's kind of a filter we put it through. You know, is it kind?
Right.
Is it necessary?
Right.
Is it helpful?
And is it timely?
Is it timely and is it true?
Right.
If it meets those five criterion,
right.
What are those again?
Oh, don't make me do it again. Okay, so I'm not going to put them in the same order.
Doesn't matter. Is it kind?
Right.
Is it necessary?
Right.
Is it truthful?
Right. Is it helpful? And didn't we say kind?
Yeah.
Is it the right time?
It's the right time.
Is it the right time?
Yeah. So there's 5 criterion for whether you should say something or not. And if it doesn't meet them all, zip it skippy, right? Like,
right.
Don't say it. Just because it came into your head doesn't mean it needs to be over the airwaves.
No, it doesn't. And so when we're saying forthright, we're not saying everything needs to be said.
No, you still need a filter.
We still filter those 5 things. And then if it still needs to be said, then we want to make sure we have enough depth of relationship to have that candor kind of conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And what I've seen, especially in the workplace, huge. We just started working in a more intimate way again with our daughter-in-law and our son. And we were having the orientation meeting and talking about what it would look like. And one of the earlier questions in our setup, we were both there. I said, so on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 meaning really authentic and real and forthright, and 1 being don't tell me anything. How do you want us to communicate with you? And then the second half of that is how can I expect you to communicate with me?
Mm.
And even though we're in relationship all the time, we learned some things that day.
Yeah. And if you're learning some stuff right now and you might say, well, how do I get a little more of this? You might want to jump on one of our websites, which is doubledecker.life, and register for our 31 Life Step Journey, which is designed to move you forward to have even more vitality, success, and love in your life.
Right. And it's really these kinds of conversations that we're having now. They're broken down into 31 little pieces, little videos. You get to laugh with us, cry with us sometimes, and learn together and inside a community.
Mm-hmm.
So in work, it works. In personal relationships, does it work? The concept of saying, hey.
Absolutely. Especially as you start to develop your depth of relationship. When you first meet somebody at a social event, you're going to talk about probably some lighter things, maybe what they do for a living, how they like it, what their kids are and whatever. You're probably not going to go, oh, what level of candor should I speak to you about what you're wearing and, how you've done your hair and your makeup.
But that doesn't fit the filter.
That's not nice?
No.
Well, it could be.
Probably. Well, okay, but that's...
Maybe it's a blind spot.
Got to be careful with that. Like, what's your business? And so this is a piece of this, sort of the filter. Is it your responsibility? That's another way I often will look at it. Is it my responsibility and is it my place? Has this really got anything to do with me? Like you said, just because I think it, doesn't mean I got to say it.
What if they got a little bit of toilet paper stuck onto the bottom of their shoe?
Well, that might be helpful. Yeah, but that's helpful. That's got nothing to do with candor, really. That's just being supportive and helpful.
I love trying to throw you off track.
It's not working. And I guess the other piece that we want to make sure we don't forget to say, and we all know this. We so know this. We've been taught it since we were kids. We were probably taught it in kindergarten, and our moms and dads taught us. Are you talking to the right person? Are you talking to the person that can do anything about the thing that you're talking about?
Are you talking like gossip?
Yeah.
Yeah. You need to be talking to the person who's involved, not their friend, not someone you hope will say something to them later.
Yeah.
Because that's not frank.
No.
That's around the corner deceitful. Telling someone else, hoping they'll get back to them.
Yeah, doesn't work. So it's one of those things we know. And I think if you're anything like me, once or twice, you may have forgotten that philosophy. So in any relationship, are you willing to establish, or is there any relationships that right now it would be really wise to establish or reestablish the level of candor that you want to have within the relationship?
Yeah. And it's been a privilege talking with you because we are passionate about helping you and us be positioned for generational legacy.
Moving forward with the Decker team. Moving forward together with the